Welcome back. This is Victoria Swinney, Director of the Dulaney-Browne Library and Librarian for Nursing at Oklahoma City University. Back to continue our discussion of CINAHL searching, looking at limiting our search so that we find fewer articles. We continue where we left off with the basic CINAHL searching with a search for diabetes education with the limits of research articles published in the past 5 years with research completed in the United States. This gives us 442 articles, which is an awful lot to look at. So let's look at ways that we can limit or reduce the number of articles. The first thing I'm going to do with this filters open is I'm going to change this unlock emblem to a locked emblem to keep my filters between searches. That way I don't need to add these three back every time since I'm going to want them to be there. The next thing I'm going to try is a pretty basic thing that you can do. We can add quotation marks on either side of phrases so that we're not finding education about something else and diabetes, but as a phrase. That works in most search engines, works in this one. Reduce the number then to 97. That's still a lot to look at. So are there some other ways that we could narrow that further? And the answer, of course, is yes. I'm going to go back to my advanced search and I'm going to keep the ones I had and I want to add one of my other favorites. This is particularly good when the articles might be not nursing related as much as you would expect because it's an allied health field as well. The journal subsets will give you some of those other options. You can see things that might come up that you wouldn't want. We're going to choose nursing here and add that to our search. And I'll go back to my filters. Okay, now I'm seeing research article, 5 years, United States, and nursing. And I'm down to 30 articles. That's a much more comfortable set to look at. Still a little large. We could limit it further if all of those articles look like they meet our criteria, or if we had other reasons to limit further. I'm going to look at another one that is sometimes useful, sometimes not useful, and that is that you have an age groups option. If I'm looking specifically in diabetes education for things related to type 1 diabetes, it's often diagnosed as adolescence. I can choose that. It doesn't limit just to, but things that include adolescence in the search, in the research. So here we have 5 results. That's a little too small if you need 5 articles. If you just need 1, it's probably great. But if you need a larger list, that may be too few. We'll talk about getting more articles in the next video. But looking back at this, some other ways that we can limit are to change the keywords. I'm going to go back to the advanced search because I like it better. I'm going to leave my diabetes education. Something else that I can do is that I can limit with other words that might be of interest to me. And I had noticed as I was doing the searches here that several were about culturally appropriate or cultural issues with diabetes education. So I'm going to put in cultural or culturally. The system does some of the automatically making those differences. I'm old school and tend to type them in when I know them. So now diabetes education and cultural or culturally, I'm only finding 3. And it said it didn't find any, that it's used some smart text searching to find things that might be useful. What I want to do here is I'm going to go back to my filters and start taking off some of them. I don't need the adolescent especially. Then I have 4. I can take off more filters as I need to. We'll talk about that more in the next video as well. But that gives you an idea of some of the ways you can cut that number down from 400 to 4. Another way that you can think about limiting it is if you're really thinking about something more specific, you need to be more specific. If you're really thinking about diabetic complications, you might start with that, and there I get 68 articles, and I can go in and look at those, or I might look at those and think, well, I was really thinking about diabetic foot. Put that in and see if that works. And then we get a fairly good list, 26 articles that we can look at. And we look at our filters and we know we're looking at research articles published in the past 5 years, researched in the United States in nursing journals. So, you know, you've got a fairly good list that you can look at. All right. Finally, I encourage you to reach out for help if you need it. I enjoy helping you and would love to do so. You can email me at vswiney@okcu.edu. You can call 405-208-5072. On many library web pages, there'll be an option to chat, and you can chat with me, or you can schedule an appointment at the URL on that page or from any library page with my picture on it. Appointments can be in person or via Teams, so you don't need to be on campus to do that. Hope to see you soon.